Yeah, it's good. It's a really good time. I've seen a lot of people debating online over how this is FromSoft's first miss. This is such a big L, and hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but in my opinion, this is a really great roguelike. It's a really fun time, and I'm having an absolute blast with Elden Ring Nightreign. First things first, I don't think anybody's doing this, but if you're comparing this to a typical FromSoft game, as a standalone single player adventure RPG experience, that's not what this is. Straight up, it's a completely new type of game. I know a lot of people are very confused or have been confused going into what this type of game is. I think at this point there's more than enough videos and material out there demonstrating and going over what this game is, but if I could put it anyway, this is a roguelike. Nightreign is a roguelike set in the Elden Ring universe with many mechanics, bosses, maps, and various other elements from Elden Rings and multiple Souls games. Now, just to throw my resume out there, I've been deep into the roguelike genre for a while. Just to name a few: Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Slay the Spire, Risk of Rain 2, Spelunky, fucking Balatro. I could go on and on. I absolutely love roguelikes. And something I've learned from every single roguelike that I've played is you are not supposed to win right away. You're not supposed to have an easy time and just steamroll your way all the way through the final boss on your first run, because that's just not the nature of the game. You're supposed to struggle. You're supposed to face hardship because you have to throw yourself over multiple runs of the game. You have to learn things. You have to learn things that will give you a better chance to get further next time. You have to die a lot. You have to learn the map. You have to learn which items will help you. You have to learn which weapons will help you. You got to know what bosses do. You got to know what mechanics they're going to throw at you in later games. You got to know how to maximize your early game versus your mid game versus your late game. There's a lot of things that go into a roguelike, and yes, it may be overwhelming to hear at first, but the game is designed that way because they want you to play for a while. You're supposed to lose for a while. You're supposed to die for a bit and learn more and more things. Now, whether you find that fun or not is going to be up to player preference. Personally, I love it. A game like Hades, I get my shit kicked in, but every single time I learn a little bit more. I learn this boss's moveset. I learn which floor I should take. I learn which benefits I should get, which gods' buffs and stuff I should take. I learn, oh, maybe I could use this weapon. I could use the shield instead of the sword. And I hopefully get a little further every single time. And it's that gameplay loop that a lot of people that are big into roguelikes find so addictive, find so enjoyable. Now, tying this back into Nightreign, I feel a lot of the people that are so frustrated with Nightreign, or maybe are not enjoying it as much as I am, are people who are not as familiar with the roguelike genre, and that's fine, and I'm not even saying that Nightreign as a roguelike is perfect, because everybody has their taste. The definition of roguelike is always fucking debated online, but I think for the people that are not giving Nightreign a chance, you have to view it from that stance. A lot of the debate that I've seen online comes from the game's difficulty. And right away, the game's hard. Straight up, the game's hard. As it should be. I already described a roguelike, you're supposed to die at first. But even beyond that, yeah, the game's hard. And solo, especially before the patch, it was really hard to progress. You weren't a high enough level. Bosses were just way too fucking hard to not have at least another try. And fortunately, it seems FromSoft's listening. They're giving updates. They gave an extra life on Night Lords. They're giving you more rune acquisition for every bosses. They're making it easier to find those, special runes. But even beyond that, it seems that a lot of people are getting discouraged when they try to fight a Night Lord. They throw themselves at it for about an hour or two, and they're not getting very far. Or they get to the Night Lord and they get their shit kicked in, and they got to do it all over again. I don't know how else to say it other than that's the point. it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be crushing. You're supposed to try over and over and over again until you get it. And when you get it, it'll feel great. But maybe that's not for you. Maybe throwing yourself endlessly at a boss or at a run is not very fun, because Elden Ring Nightreign, even more so than any other roguelike I've played, you have to be as efficient as possible because there is no time to waste. The game consists of 3 days, which is really more like 2 days because the third day is just the final boss, but each day is about 15 to 20 minutes. So when you drop into a map, you need to immediately have a game plan. You need to have a route. You need to know, what am I doing? What am I going to be building? What is my character going to be looking like? And you're not gonna know right away. You're not supposed to. You're not gonna know when I land into a map, I need to go to a church to get another Estus shard, and then I need to go to a cathedral to do this. You're not gonna know that. You're not gonna know what items do what. You're not gonna know which weapons are better. You're not gonna know which permanent buffs to equip on your character. And you're not supposed to. Because that is the gameplay loop. The map of Elden Ring Nightreign, and I've seen this criticized a lot, is pretty static. It doesn't change like other roguelike. It's not random, and even the placement of bosses pretty much stays the same. Sometimes bosses won't be there when normally they're there, but overall, they're pretty solid of where they're at. And that is a plus of the game. That's a plus for you because it helps you plan a route. Because maybe when you're not as well knowledgeable on the game, you'll see a boss and you'll run to it and you'll fight it and it'll take you 6 minutes. And yeah, you killed the boss, maybe you died 1 or 2 times, maybe you get a good item, but you just blew through 6 minutes. So maybe on your next run, maybe when you're a bit more experienced, maybe you say, okay, when I land, maybe I do this boss. Maybe that boss takes me too long. Maybe this boss I know doesn't give me good drops. Maybe the runes he gives aren't that good. Maybe I just fucking avoid it and come back day 2. Or maybe you're playing another character where you can take that boss down really fast. So you have to make a bunch of these on-the-fly decisions to craft your build as good as you can. Because the bosses, the end of night bosses, they're gonna kick your shit in. And they're really hard. And if you don't have a solid build in mind, you're gonna be dying a lot. And that is the real fun of it for me, because I'll go into a run and I'll be thinking, okay, I'm playing as Wilder. He's like the main, the first character you unlock. He's got a great sword and a shield. I go in and I think, okay, I'm going to make a build around great swords and I'm going to use, a shield. I'm going to do a really strong, sword and shield build, let's say. But then let's say I only get fucking axes. I don't get any great swords. I don't get any shields. Now I got to make a decision. Now I got to say, okay, am I going to try to do this boss I was going to do because I knew it would do X, Y, and Z for me? Or I'm not getting good drops. I'm running out of time. Do I try to pivot and change my build? Do I try to do something else? Do I know there's a certain other build I can do that's a bit easier to form with what I got? And you can go from there. And if you don't build it the right way, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to die and you're going to have to try the run again. That's the whole nature of the game. And again, it's not for everybody. If people have tried this and they're not having a good time, it's not for you. But for me, as a massive fan of roguelikes, as somebody who is a giant fan of the Souls series, of Bloodborne, of Elden Ring, this is a great time. And it's hard. I'm not winning consistently. I'm getting my shit kicked in, but that's the fun of it. I've died for hours on Risk of Rain 2. I've died for hours on Star of Providence, and I fucking love that game. There's so many roguelikes where I've spent hours and hours dying and losing, but during all those deaths, you learn more. And that's the same case with Nightreign. It's a game that demands you to throw yourself endlessly at it and learn more and more every single time to hopefully get a little further in the next run. It's a fucking roguelike, and it's a damn fun one for me. I kind of take this stance of defending it because I've just seen so many people that I feel giving very misguided takes on it. And it's fine if you don't like it, but I feel a lot of people are judging this as a FromSoft game as opposed to a roguelike. And you can say as a roguelike it fails because there's not much randomization. And I guess that's fair. I'm not super far in the game. Maybe at hour 60 I'll say, I wish there was a bit more variety in the map locations and stuff. But right now where I'm at, I truly do think the map being static and the bosses there being, relatively the same to be a plus for the game. I think it helps you really understand that map knowledge and form a route, and go from wherever you drop having a game plan and just gaining that knowledge over time. But the door's open for DLC. They've confirmed they're doing DLC. Maybe they'll do new maps. Maybe they'll add some variety, and I'll be saying a different tune and the rest of the world will. But as it stands right now, I'm really enjoying Nightreign. I'm having a great time with it. If you've been on the fence about it, I think you're gonna have a blast. If it looks interesting to you, give it a shot. Give it a really fair shot. And if you're worried about solo play, I've only played solo. I know it's a blast with friends. I'm just waiting on my friends to get it, cheap bastards. But I'm having a blast solo. I'm having a great time with the game. So yeah, and it's pretty much all I got. So Night Reign's a great time. Later.